What if I told you that the world map you grew up seeing in the classroom is a lie? A 400-year-old distortion that makes Africa look smaller than it is. And now the African Union is saying enough is enough.
You are watching Trending with Tosin.
So, going into this fascinating conversation that is stirring debate across Africa and beyond. Now, the African Union is calling for a new world map, one that finally does justice to the true size of Africa. For centuries, the map most of us are familiar with, the mercator projection, has shaped how we see the world. But here's the problem. This map wasn't designed for accuracy. It was designed for European navigation during the age of exploration. The result? Continents near the poles like Europe, North America, and Russia look massive, while Africa, which is truly gigantic, appears shrinking and insignificant. Now let's put this into perspective. On the Mercator map, Greenland looks about the same size as Africa, when in reality Africa is about 14 times larger. Now the US looks comparable to the African continent. In truth, you could fit the entire US, China, India, and much of Europe inside Africa and still have space left. So for hundreds of years, people have been growing up with this distorted image, an image that subconsciously reinforced the idea that Africa is small, less important, and easier to overlook. This isn't just about cartography, it's psychology, geopolitics, and identity. Now, the African Union's campaign is about more than just correcting a map. It's about reclaiming narrative. For too long, Africa has been treated as though it's one small country, when in reality it is a vast continent of 54 diverse nations, home to 1.4 billion people and some of the richest natural resources in the world. By fixing the map, the AU hopes to fix perception, and perception matters, whether in international trade, diplomacy, or how young Africans see themselves on the global stage. But this push for a new map is happening at the same time as other powerful movements across the continent, and one of the most dramatic examples right now is happening in Kenya. Over the past few months, Kenya has been rocked by what's now being called the Gen Z revolution. Tens of thousands of young people, many under 30, have taken to the street demanding accountability from the government. The protest started as an outcry against heavy new taxes introduced under President William Ruto's administration. The government had proposed higher levies on essentials like fuel, internet data, and even basic food items. For many young Kenyans already battling high unemployment and rising cost of living, this was the last straw. But what makes this movement unique is how it's being organized. Unlike past protests driven by political parties, the uprising is largely leaderless. Young people are mobilizing through X, TikTok, and WhatsApp, sharing information, live streaming protests, and coordinating in real time. The hashtag Reject Finance Bill went viral, uniting Kenyans across social classes, and protests grew so intense that the government was forced to backtrack on part of the bill. But even after the small victory, Gen Z Kenyans are saying this is no longer just about the taxes. This is about corruption, leadership, and the future of the country. What's even more striking, the courage, despite facing tear gas, police crackdowns, and even deaths in the demonstration. Young people have refused to be silenced. Many are calling this a turning point in Kenya's democracy. Proof that Africa's new generation is no longer willing to sit quietly while leaders mismanage resources. And in a way, this Kenya movement ties directly back to the African Union map campaign. Both are about visibility, both are about rejecting distortion, whether of geography or governance, and demanding that Africa be seen and treated for what it really is: big, bold, and significant. So here's the bigger picture. The map we use isn't just about geography, it's about power. The way we see the world literally shapes how we treat it. And if Africa continues to be seen as less, then its voice on the global stage will continue to be muted. The African Union call for a corrected world map is about restoring balance. And the Kenyan youth protest shows us that this demand for recognition and respect is alive at every level, from the street of Nairobi to the halls of Addis Ababa, where the AU meets. Let's head to Nigeria, the southwestern region of the country where two prominent Yoruba monarchs have been roped into a battle of supremacy. Let's dive in. The Alaafin of Oyo has given the Ooni of Ife just 48 hours to revoke a chieftaincy title or face a dire consequence. The Alaafin of Oyo, Oba Abimbola Akim Owade, has issued a bold 48-hour ultimatum to the Ooni of Ife, Oba Adeyeye Enitan Ogunwusi. The Ooni recently conferred the title of Okanlom of Yorubaland on businessman Dotun Sanusi, popularly known as Ilaji, but the Alaafin insists that only he, as the custodian of Yoruba political authority, has the power to give titles that cover all of Yorubaland. So, who exactly is Dotun Sanusi and why is his name at the center of this controversy? Sanusi, also called Ilaji, is a prominent Ibadan-based businessman, a philanthropist, and the founder of Ilaji Hotels and Resort, one of the biggest hospitality and sport facilities in Oyo State. He is invested heavily in grassroots sport, job creation, and local development, earning him respect across the Southwest. Sanusi is also seen as a bridge builder, someone who frequently donates to communities and support traditional institutions. In short, he is not just wealthy, he is influential, and his name carries weight in Yoruba land. This makes any title conferred on him symbolic. It's not just about him, it's about who claims the authority to recognize him as a pan-Yoruba leader. The Alaafin's argument. In a statement, the Alaafin accused the Ooni of exceeding his power, stressing that the Ooni's authority is limited to Ife land. According to the Alaafin, chieftaincy titles that extend across Yoruba land are his exclusive preserve, a right even backed by a Supreme Court ruling. What is the implication? The implication is that the Ooni had no legal or traditional standing to bestow such a title on Sanusi in the first place. To grasp the weight of this conflict, we need to look back at Yoruba history. The Ooni of Ife is regarded as the spiritual head of the Yoruba race. Ile-Ife is considered the cradle of Yoruba civilization, the home of Oduduwa, and the Ooni's role has always been as a custodian of culture, ancestry, and spirituality. The Alaafin of Oyo, however, rose as the political and military head from the 16th to the 18th century. The Oyo Empire dominated the West Africa with cavalry forces, trade and governance structure that extended Yoruba influence far beyond today's Nigeria. At its height, the Alaafin's word was law in much of Yoruba land. Colonial administration later recognized the split. The Ooni as a spiritual custodian, the Alaafin as political authority. This is why Pan-Yoruba titles, according to tradition and legal precedent, fall under the Alaafin's jurisdiction. So why does Sanusi matter here? By giving him the title of Okanlom of Yoruba land, the Ooni wasn't just honoring a businessman, he was elevating Sanusi as a symbol of pan-Yoruba leadership. To the Alaafin, that was crossing a red line. Because Sanusi already commands respect in Oyo State, the Alaafin's backyard. This move could be seen as the Ooni flexing influence beyond Ife into Oyo's traditional territory. That's why the Alaafin has taken it so personally. For him, this isn't about Sanusi himself, but about safeguarding the throne's centuries-old authority over Yoruba white titles. This clash is more than a cultural squabble. It highlights the ongoing rivalry between Yoruba traditional thrones, spiritual versus political supremacy. So Sanusi, respected and beloved in Ibadan and beyond, now finds himself in the middle of a storm much bigger than himself. Whether the Ooni revokes the title or not, this controversy has reopened the long-standing debate about who really defines Yoruba leadership. So as the 48-hour ultimatum runs out, all eyes are on Ile-Ife and Oyo. Will the Ooni back down or will the Alaafin make good on his warning? One thing is clear, the battle over Dr. Sanusi's title isn't just about one man. It's about legacy, supremacy, and the future of Yoruba traditional leadership. What's your take? Should the Ooni have honored Dr. Sanusi with a pan-Yoruba title, or was the Alaafin right to draw the line? Let's talk in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with someone who loves Yoruba history. Thank you for watching. God bless you. I am Oluwatosin.
You are watching Trending with Tosin.